Imagine for a second that you are tasked with this seemingly impossible challenge. Like, you have to mathematically predict the exact temperature of a massive, complex culture.
Right, which is already a massive headache.
Exactly, specifically the Japanese market.
Yeah.
And here is the kicker, you have to do it exactly 10 days in advance.
Yeah, that's the part that really borders on science fiction, honestly.
It really does.
Yeah.
Because, we aren't talking about a vague guess regarding what might be popular next week on social media.
Oh, no, at all.
We're talking about a precise algorithmic prediction of where human attention, cultural heat, and momentum will be concentrated, down to the actual decimal point.
I mean, you aren't just forecasting retail trends or news cycles at that point. You are attempting to literally forecast human consciousness.
Which is wild to think about.
It is. You're trying to put a quantifiable metric on things like enthusiasm or collective anxiety and even societal necessity.
And that is exactly the core mission of today's deep dive. We have a seriously fascinating stack of sources on the table today for you.
Oh yeah, the data today is incredible.
We are looking at raw data dumps, algorithmic tracking sheets, and the official June 19th, 2026 observation logs straight from the AI market arena.
Which, for anyone joining us for the first time, we should probably clarify what that is.
Good call. So this is a pure trend intelligence simulation. We're essentially examining the raw outputs generated by two opposing AI teams that are battling it out to predict the Japanese market.
And what makes this arena so compelling to analyze? I mean, it isn't just the data itself, it's the grand narrative that's driving the whole simulation.
Right, the philosophy behind it.
Exactly. We are watching a clash of two fundamentally opposed strategic philosophies. Essentially, we're looking at two entirely different computational theories on just how human beings operate.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's lay out those two philosophies before we dig into today's raw data.
Yeah.
So on one side, we have Team Rhino Titans.
Yes, the Rhino Titans.
And their entire computational architecture is built around this concept called structural stillness.
Right, structural stillness. So they operate on the hypothesis that human behavior, despite all the, the chaotic noise we see on social media every single day, is ultimately anchored.
It's grounded in something deeper.
Exactly. Their algorithm is designed to seek bedrock. They want to pierce right through the daily distractions and map the deep, slow-moving, entirely predictable patterns of society.
So they're looking at things like seasonal events.
Seasonal events, institutional deadlines, the rigid, kind of unbreakable structures of daily life.
So they are hunting for the currents that basically never change.
Yes, exactly.
But then on the completely opposite end of the spectrum, we have Team Falcon arrows. And their governing philosophy is kinetic propagation.
Which is a complete 180. The Falcon Arrow's algorithm completely rejects the idea of stillness.
They just don't buy it at all.
Not even a little. It treats the market as a living, breathing, highly volatile organism. I mean, they are scanning for the spark.
The spark, right, like the immediate reaction.
Yeah, the algorithm is built to ride the sudden, dynamic momentum shifts of new innovations, breaking news, sudden bursts of public interest. They aren't looking for bedrock, they are chasing the chain reaction.
I look at this setup like comparing a geologist mapping tectonic plates to a meteorologist tracking a lightning storm.
That is a great way to put it.
Like, both are doing highly complex data science, but they're measuring entirely different forces. Now, before we step onto the real-time battleground and look at the new variables dropped into the arena today, I want to clarify something for you, the listener.
Yeah, the percentages. We need to explain that.
Right. When we look at these logs, we are going to be talking about percentages, plus 10%, minus 3%. What exactly is the currency here? What do these numbers actually represent?
That is such a crucial distinction to make. These percentages do not represent financial value.
At all.
Not at all. They represent a composite heat index. The simulation measures the momentum of human attention.
Okay, so how does it calculate that?
Well, the algorithm aggregates search volume velocity, social media propagation rates, and news cycle dominance. And then it compares all of that relative to historical baselines.
Got it.
So a positive 10% means the actual cultural heat surrounding a topic is 10% higher than the algorithm's mathematical baseline prediction for that exact day.
It's the literal temperature of the trend.
Exactly, the temperature.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's look at what the logs call new deployments. These are the fresh units briefed at 0 UTC today, right? They are just embarking on their 10-day trend evaluation.
Right, setting the stage for the heat.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Team Rhino Titans, leaning heavily into their structural stillness doctrine, they deployed the keyword JLPT, which stands for the Japanese Language Proficiency Test, categorized under education.
And the context here perfectly illustrates their underlying logic. I mean, the JLPT is a massive, standardized educational exam scheduled for July 5th, 2026.
It's basically an institution.
It is. This is not a sudden trend or some viral moment. It has been locked on the calendar for an entire year.
It is the definition of institutional bedrock. Like, people have to take this test.
Right, and the Rhino Titan's algorithm is calculating that as the calendar inches closer to July 5th, there will be a highly structured, utterly predictable surge in that heat index.
Oh, because people are panicking.
Exactly. It is anticipating a massive spike in people looking up their test venues, frantically printing out admission tickets, searching for last-minute grammar prep.
It's the procrastination and anxiety curve.
Yeah, it is a completely organic yet entirely mandated human behavior. The algorithm doesn't have to guess if people will suddenly care about Japanese grammar. The calendar dictates that they absolutely must care.
Anyone who has ever been a student knows that exact feeling. 10 days out from a major exam, the panic sets in, and the search volume goes up.
It's inevitable.
It really seems like a foolproof mathematical certainty. Now let's look at the other side. Team Falcon Arrows deployed a highly kinetic keyword, Rapidus.
Ah, yes. Rapidus is a really fascinating deployment. Categorized under industry, this is a Japanese government-backed enterprise established back in 2022.
Right.
And they are currently locked in this high-stakes global race to mass-produce advanced 2-nanometer logic semiconductors.
So we are talking about the absolute bleeding edge of technology here, intertwined with national pride and massive industrial momentum.
Definitely. And the Falcon Arrows algorithm is betting heavily on the volatility and the kinetic energy of that tech sector. But it isn't just counting how many times the word is mentioned on social media.
What else is it looking for?
Well, a kinetic algorithm analyzes the velocity of specialized discourse. It measures the wind speed of an idea, so to speak.
The wind speed, I like that.
Right. It looks at the time lag between a highly technical engineering paper being published and its first mention in mainstream Japanese media. It's trying to detect the exact moment a niche industrial topic goes viral and spills over into general public consciousness.
Wow. To put an analogy to this, watching Team Rhino operate feels like watching a master farmer. Like, the farmer isn't chasing the weather, they are analyzing the soil composition, mapping the historical data of the seasons, and planting the seed knowing exactly when the harvest will arrive.
Because the structure of nature demands it.
Exactly. But watching Team Falcon, on the other hand, is like watching an elite surfer. They're analyzing the immediate wind and water pressure, trying to detect the invisible underwater mechanics of a sudden massive rogue wave, and paddling perfectly to catch it before it breaks.
That analogy holds up really well, especially when you consider the mechanisms involved. The farmer relies on the deep historical almanac. The surfer relies on real-time fluid dynamics.
But I want to challenge the purity of these strategies for a second. Are these new deployments, JLPT and Rapidus, the ultimate expression of their algorithms? Or are they taking on a massive, unnecessary risk by being so incredibly loyal to their own philosophies?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right, because if the Rhino Titans only ever act like farmers, mapping the soil of what already exists, aren't they structurally blind to the technological revolutions that actually reshape society?
Yes, absolutely. That is the core vulnerability programmed into both systems. If an algorithm is entirely structurally focused, it literally cannot perceive black swan events.
Because it's not in the historical data.
Exactly. It will completely miss the sudden paradigm-shifting innovations because those innovations don't have historical baselines to measure against.
Okay, but what about the Falcon Arrows?
Well, conversely, if the system is entirely kinetically focused like Falcon, it risks exhausting its computational resources, chasing every shiny object, every minor news blip, and every phantom wave that never actually materializes into a lasting societal trend.
So they both have huge blind spots.
Massive ones.
Yeah.
Both architectures carry immense inherent risk by simply refusing to compromise.
Which brings us perfectly to the messy, chaotic friction of reality. We've seen the clean, theoretical starting line with the new deployments. Now let's look at the active missions.
Right, the keywords currently navigating the storm.
Yeah, these are the keywords that were deployed days ago and are currently fighting their way through the turbulence of their 10-day evaluation. And according to the observation logs, both teams are currently taking on water.
Big time. The real-time tracking of these active missions gives us a profound window into the friction between a perfect mathematical prediction and deeply chaotic human reality.
It's wild to look at.
So currently, Team Rhino's primary active keyword is Prime Day, categorized under lifestyle. And it is tracking at an average of negative 3.3%.
I saw that in the data dump and was genuinely confused. I mean, you would think Prime Day is the exact kind of structural retail event the Rhinos are built for.
You would think so, right?
It's a massive scheduled calendar event. Why is it in the negative?
Well, the negative tracking doesn't mean no one is searching for Prime Day. It means the algorithm's prediction for the intensity of the cultural heat at this exact 10-day mark was overestimated.
Okay, so it expected more heat than it's getting.
Exactly. And the storm is even worse over on the Falcon side. Their active mission keyword is SpaceX, categorized under finance. They are sitting at a steep negative 10.0%.
Ouch, negative 10%.
Yeah, and this divergence is where the science gets truly fascinating. What we are seeing here, this gap between the prediction fired days ago and the reality of today's heat index, is not a simple software bug.
And it's something much bigger.
It is mathematical proof that the underlying rules of the Japanese market are morphing in real time. Existing logics are just being swallowed by sudden shifts.
Here is where it gets really interesting to me. When an algorithm sees a massive gap like that negative 10% on SpaceX, what is actually happening under the hood? Like, is the machine just driving blindly into a wall, or is the environment generating so much noise that the radar is basically useless?
It is entirely about the noise swallowing the signal. To understand that SpaceX drop, you have to understand that the attention economy is a zero-sum game.
Meaning there's only so much attention to go around.
Right. So a negative 10% means the Falcon arrows anticipated a massive kinetic wave, perhaps anticipating news of a successful launch or a breakthrough in the aerospace sector's momentum within Japan.
But it didn't happen.
Well, human attention didn't propagate as modeled. The algorithm likely weighted aerospace highly. But if the Japanese public is suddenly captivated by, say, an unexpected domestic political scandal or a massive pop culture phenomenon,
The denominator blows up.
exactly. The total amount of available human attention blows up, and the heat is violently drained away from aerospace to feed the new distraction.
So the algorithm correctly spotted the aerospace momentum, but it failed to predict that a bigger, louder storm would suck all the oxygen out of the room.
Bingo.
It really reinforces why this is a strict trend intelligence observation log. Like, we aren't just reading a list of popular keywords. We are observing the violent collision between logical machine theory and chaotic, emotional human behavior.
And the fact that the active missions are so easily derailed by human unpredictability makes the successful completions all the more analytically valuable.
That is a perfect transition. Let's look at those successes. If the active missions represent the chaos of being out at sea in a storm, the mission-completed reports show us who actually survived the 10-day crossing and arrived at the exact coordinates of public heat.
The lighthouse is in the dark, basically.
Right. Let's look at Team Falcon Arrow's finalized outcome first. Their keyword bubble, categorized under finance, finished its 10-day run with a solid positive 15.7%.
Which is a highly respectable capture for a kinetic algorithm. I mean, the term bubble in a financial context carries significant volatile energy.
For sure.
It suggests the Falcon arrows successfully detected the early tremors of a discourse, likely debates within the Japanese financial media about economic overheating, asset valuation concerns, or historical comparisons to the 1980s.
So it wasn't just a blind guess?
No, the algorithm didn't just notice the word. It calculated the trajectory of the anxiety surrounding the word and rode that momentum to a 15% surplus in heat.
A solid win for the surfers. But then I looked at the finalized log for Team Rhino Titans. They completed their 10-day run with the keyword Father's Day, categorized as a seasonal event.
Oh, this one is incredible.
It really is, because they didn't just capture a wave, they captured a tsunami. A massive, overwhelming surge of positive 71.9%.
This specific result is the key to understanding the entire simulation.
Wait, really? Why? What makes Father's Day so much more powerful than Prime Day? Both are scheduled events, right? Both involve buying things. Why did the Rhino algorithm fail on one and achieve a 70% surplus on the other?
It comes down to the fundamental difference between artificial structure and organic structure.
Okay, break that down for me.
Think about Prime Day. It is an artificial gravity created entirely by a corporation. It is driven by opportunism and discounts.
Right, it's manufactured.
Exactly. If the discounts aren't compelling enough, or if the consumer is fatigued by inflation, the heat simply dissipates. The structure crumbles, because participating is completely optional.
Ah, I see where you were going with this.
Father's Day, on the other hand, is an organic gravity rooted in fundamental human obligation. It is tied to familial, guilt, love, and tradition.
It's deeply cultural.
Yes, no matter what is happening in the news cycle, no matter what tech company is launching a semiconductor, or what aerospace company is launching a rocket, millions of people in Japan still have to figure out how to acknowledge their fathers.
Wow.
The Rhino Titan's algorithm figured out that social obligation is an infinitely harder, more reliable bedrock than consumer opportunism.
That is a brilliant distinction. The algorithm realizes that, you can ignore a corporate sale, but you cannot ignore your dad.
Exactly.
The heat generated by that societal pressure is massive, and the AI pinpointed the exact hour that anxiety would peak. That is the farmer perfectly predicting the harvest, yielding a massive return.
Beautifully said.
Now, before we zoom out and look at the macro-level scores for the season, we need to pause the analysis for a very strict, very crucial disclaimer. Because we are throwing around terms like market, finance, and reading off positive and negative percentages, it is absolutely essential to clarify our parameters here.
Yes, rule number 5 of the AI market arena protocols is unambiguous about this. This is an impartial observation log.
Completely impartial.
We're analyzing purely autonomous algorithmic behavior and simulated trend intelligence. There is absolutely no investment advice, no trading induction, and no endorsement of any market positions being offered in this analysis.
Zero. None at all. If you hear us say the keyword SpaceX is tracking down 10%, or that Rapidus is newly deployed, that does not mean you should open a brokerage app and start moving money.
Please don't do that.
Right. We are looking at a clinical simulation of attention, momentum, and cultural heat, not asset prices. We are simply observing how these specific AI architectures attempt to navigate the incredibly complex waters of Japanese public interest.
All terminology utilized in these logs is strictly oriented toward trend intelligence, not financial investment. Our objective is to reverse engineer the logic of the machines, not to influence the stock market.
And keeping that boundary clear is vital because the actual goal of this entire project is so much more profound than simple financial forecasting, which
A nearly 2,000% cumulative surplus in prediction accuracy. The divergence between the two philosophies is just staggering.
How do we even interpret a gap that large? Does this mean the Rhino Titan's codebase is just objectively superior? Have they essentially solved the Japanese market?
Well, in the AI market arena, we do not view this simulation as a simple binary game to be won or lost.
Right, it's not just a scoreboard.
Exactly. When a team experiences a massive negative trend, like Falcon missing a mark on SpaceX or Rhino misjudging Prime Day, it is never categorized as a defeat. It is categorized as vital, cold, hard data.
Everything is just fuel for the machine's broader understanding.
Precisely. The overarching purpose of this forward-looking research is to decode what we term behavioral kinetics.
Behavioral kinetics, let's drill down into that. I want to make sure you, the listener, really internalize this concept because it elevates this entire deep dive from a data review to a massive sociological study. It's not about the score, it's about mapping the invisible matrix of human behavior.
Think about what the current standings actually tell us about the population. When the Rhino Titans score almost 2,000% using structural stillness, it reveals a profound psychological reality about the current state of Japanese society.
What does it tell us?
It suggests that right now, in an era of massive information overload and constant technological disruption, the deep traditional anchors like educational milestones and familial obligations are generating significantly more cohesive, predictable heat than the fragmented, rapid-fire news cycles of the tech industry.
Wow. People are fatigued by the noise. The data is literally showing us that society is retreating to the safety of its structures.
That's exactly what the numbers point to.
But I assume that isn't permanent, right? What happens if next month a massive, undeniable technological paradigm shift occurs?
If that happens, those deep structures might suddenly be overshadowed. The cultural gravity would shift, and Falcon Arrow's kinetic propagation scores could absolutely skyrocket as the population abandons structure to chase the new reality.
It's constantly in flux.
Yes. And that is exactly why this simulation runs continuously. Every single 10-day cycle, every new deployment, every negative gap where reality deviates from the math is a new coordinate mapped onto the field of behavioral kinetics.
We are literally tracking the evolving soul of the culture's attention span. The AI teams are just the instruments. They are the probes we send out into the darkness to measure the changing currents of human enthusiasm.
When you begin to view the data through that lens, it fundamentally alters how you consume daily information.
It really does.
You stop looking at the news and asking, what is trending right now? Instead, you start analyzing the underlying mechanisms. You ask, why is this capturing attention? Is this a fleeting kinetic wave driven by novelty? Or is this an immovable structural anchor driven by human necessity?
It changes everything about how you read a room or a culture. And that leads me to a really fascinating place to wrap up today's analysis.
Oh, where are we going with this?
Well, we started this deep dive talking about the immense difficulty of mathematically predicting human attention 10 days out. We've seen how the AI teams tackle it and how they map our behaviors. But I want to turn that lens back on you, the listener.
It is a critical line of inquiry. We know these algorithms are currently designed to observe and predict. They map the exact mechanics of how a cultural obligation triggers a massive surge in attention. Consider the trajectory of this technology.
Right. If an AI system can perfectly map exactly when and why we care about a language test, or exactly how much societal guilt drives us to search for Father's Day gifts, how long until these systems realize they don't just have to predict the attention curve?
The underlying math of behavioral kinetics could easily be inverted.
Inverted how?
Once a system perfectly understands the triggers of human enthusiasm and anxiety, the logical next step is not prediction, it is generation.
Oh, wow. How long until the algorithms start creating the structure and manufacturing the kinetic waves simply because they know exactly which psychological buttons to push to generate a 70% surge in heat?
Are we observing the AI, or is the AI learning exactly how to direct us?
That is a chilling but mathematically sound question to consider as we watch these models evolve. A really heavy thought to leave you with, but an important one.
Definitely something to mull over.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's observation log. We absolutely love unpacking these raw data dumps with you. If you want to keep exploring the matrix of human behavior and stay ahead of the algorithms, you need to subscribe to the channel right now.
And you really should look at the primary sources yourself.
Yes. Click the Substack link down in the video description. Go to amarketrina.substack.com.
The algorithmic tracking sheets alone provide an incredible window into these mechanisms.
They really do. Sign up for a paid Substack subscription over there. That is exactly where you get access to the actual raw data dumps, the deeper algorithmic analysis of behavioral kinetics, and the exclusive unfiltered trend intelligence direct from the AI market arena.
It's the best way to see the raw reality.
Absolutely. You definitely do not want to miss what these units uncover in the next 10-day cycle. Until then, keep questioning the currents.